Tried out for the Olympics several times in shooting, and won the California State Championships for juniors, and national championships too, a couple times in international shooting.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have quite an experience with weapons and guns. Yeah, and
then a little microphone on.
Then I tried out. I tried to get in the U.S. Army as well in 1982 as a Sikh, and so.
How did Lonnie do that?
Did you convert to Sikh or?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I'll just look it on your.
Yeah, you want to set it up. Yeah.
There we go. Actually, do it right here.
That was about 35 years ago.
In college or?
Yes. Yes. I met.
I'll let you hide this wherever you like.
Okay.
It's like a little pager would be.
Can you put this on?
I'll let Kevin handle that while I'm.
Yeah, just put it in my belt there if you wouldn't mind. Sure. Yeah. I think
Just a second to set up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see your Olympic stuff here too.
Okay.
Are you from Southern California?
Yes.
What part?
Claremont.
Oh, I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. My brother still lives down there.
And some of my best friends went to the Claremont colleges.
Oh yeah. Claremont Men's or to Harvey Mudd? Or,
Harvey Mudd. One of my friends went to Harvey Mudd, and my other friend went to what's the all-girls one? Is it Scripps? No.
Oh, I can't remember. Women's College. Something Women's College. I can't remember what that is.
Scripps, isn't it?
The Scripps, maybe. Yeah. There's 4 colleges down there, I think. Yeah.
Pomona.
Uh-huh.
Pomona's in the Claremont colleges, isn't it?
Yeah, Pomona Men's College. I think.
It's so different there now. The highway goes through and.
Yeah, it's the 210 freeway. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I went to Claremont High School.
Okay.
Yeah, and did you go to Upland High School by chance?
No, I went to Etiwanda High School.
Etiwanda, okay. Because I ran on the cross country team at Claremont, and we ran against Steve Scott. I don't know if you remember who he was. He was the best miler that the U.S. has ever had.
What year? What years?
That was 75
okay.
When I graduated. So that was the year I think that
Kevin wasn't even born.
No, I was just born.
yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting how to plan.
Etiwanda didn't exist though then.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
No, it's all right.
But so I've had a lot of history with competition and competing and things. So I grew up as a Christian, and in a kind of ordinary Christian family.
Non-denominational, or was it?
No, Church of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist.
And so I had a real affinity towards belief in God and serving your country and that type of thing. So when I went to college, of course, back in the 70s, it was all this woo hippie stuff, and
right.
So I wasn't so much into it. I don't consider myself to have done a hippie, but I got into taking yoga from a man who is also Sikh. All right, so I got into this group called 3HO, or Yogi Bhajan was the leader of this group, and so after being in there for a number of years, I realized that yoga is not, this woo stuff really isn't part of the Sikh tradition. Okay, so it was real evolution for me to get out of that kind of hippie stuff, I guess, for lack of a better word. And then I got into more traditional Sikh traditions, and so.
Do you just become like you're not baptized into it? You just
there is a Sikh baptism. Yeah. In fact, it's called Amrit. You take Amrit. Okay, so you're baptized as a Sikh, and so not all Sikhs are baptized. Probably only maybe 10%, something like that. There's 20 million Sikhs in the world.
Right.
Like
the
that.
largest. I read that.
Yeah, exactly. So as you probably know, not all Sikhs wear the turban and
right.
uncut hair.
Right.
But really, to be a real true Sikh, or what we call maybe an Orthodox Sikh, you don't cut your hair. Those are requirements, tenets of our faith. You don't cut the hair. You don't use the meat or alcohol or tobacco. Nothing like that. Nothing that would pollute your body. That's the idea of that. So then we're required to wear this kirpan, it's called, or
is it the dagger?
Yeah.
Let me get a picture of that. Kind of describe
sure.
what you have there.
Well, this is called a kirpan, and all Sikhs are required to wear a kirpan. And you probably heard in the news about different Sikhs fighting for their civil rights to be able to wear a kirpan. And so this is that weapon. Now, the kirpan represents to a Sikh, tells a Sikh that you should be prepared to defend yourself and defend those that can't defend themselves as well. So it's our duty, not just that we should, but it's our duty to do that. Now, my lawsuit that I filed day before yesterday has to deal with that very topic about defense of our families and defense of others that can't defend themselves. I filed this lawsuit because I feel the state of California is totally restrictive on these gun laws where I cannot practice my religion the way that the Sikh gurus have taught us. That's the bottom line.
It almost sounds like the Sikh faith had a Second Amendment before the U.S.
Well, this I tell people. I said this Sikhism has been around a lot longer than the state of California. So we've had these mandates to be prepared and to respect and worship weapons before America was even around. So I think that it's only beholding on California to make accommodations that Sikhs can be able to have these modern weapons, like assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, in order to suitably defend ourselves and our families. Now, you may have heard about that shooting. I'm sure you heard about the shooting in
Down by Elk Grove?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I covered
Okay.
it.
Now, that guy...
2 men, right?
No, there's one. Just one. Wade Michael Page. That was the shooter.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought 2 men died though.
No, 6.
Okay,
Six-
I'm sorry, I was
six.
thinking of the 2 men that were walking down the street.
Oh, that was in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's
no.
what I thought, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, okay.
what
Well,
you're saying.
I mean, that just shows you. There have been
Right.
several instances where Sikhs have been targeted by, hate mongers and these white supremacists and people like that. They don't understand what Sikh is about. And so that's one of the reasons that I feel like we need modern weapons in order to defend ourselves and defend those that, like our temples and gurdwaras. That incident back in Wisconsin, the shooter was wearing a bulletproof vest. He had a 30-round magazine in his weapon. Now, if I'm only restricted to 10 rounds and I miss on a few of the rounds, what am I supposed to say? Oh, wait a minute, I got to put the other clip in, So the state of California really needs to make an amendment where accommodation where Sikhs can have the assault rifle. The other thing that I observed from that situation is that being a marksman, if I had an assault rifle in my car that had been loaded and ready to go, I think I would have been able to take that guy out, before he could have killed more people. Now, I think what the policeman did there, it was shot by him, was very, very honorable and courageous. All right, but why not have people on the scene, Sikhs that would be trained and with weapons and be able to take that guy out, okay, before we'd have to even call the police, because the police do take time to get there. All right, even though they come within a few minutes. A few minutes means everything in this kind of situation with somebody who's got a high capacity magazine with he's got army training too. Okay.
Does the lawsuit though take the Sikh? Is the Sikh? Let's try to phrase this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
The Sikh mandate
Mm-hmm.
to carry a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when those tenets were written, assault rifles didn't exist.
Correct. Guns did, but go ahead.
Guns did.
Yeah.
So does this take it beyond, or does the Sikh is the religious rule, the religious law broad enough to incorporate modern weapons?
No, I think it is, and many Sikhs do think it is, because specifically, did you have a chance to read the lawsuit?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says in there a specific quotation from our 10th Sikh Guru, who says you should worship and have all weapons of all kinds. Okay. So that's very broad, I think, and it would apply to modern times. And obviously, if you just have a knife or a sword, it's not going to be enough against modern weapons. So I think it does. And I think what will be essential in this lawsuit is to be able to frame that in such a way to show the court that it does apply in the modern sense. And I plan to bring expert witnesses that are from India, who are experts in the Sikh religion, to testify on my behalf.
And what you're sort of saying is that because Sikhs have become a target
Right.
in some fashion, or would it be more accurate to say misinterpreted as a target? Because people confuse Sikhs as the Taliban.
I think in many cases that's true. We'll never know with this Wade Michael Page why he attacked Sikhs. All right, but from looking at his background, he was in the army before, and he was part of a white supremacist group. Okay, now I tried to get in the U.S. Army in 1982, and I think looking back at that, if there had been other Sikhs in the army with him, he would have known and understood who Sikhs were more. Okay, rather than being segregated where he wasn't around Sikhs at all, okay, before that. Okay, so I think there are many people out there who have this completely misunderstanding about what Sikhs are about. I get messages all the time. I've got one in my lawsuit who says, this guy says, we're here to kill people like you. I mean, where does that come from? It comes from ignorance, basically, all right? So we need to make people aware of what Sikhs are about, and that we're about self-defense, not attacking. We're not violent people, all right? I mean, you can ask...
Quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite, absolutely. But we are firm in standing for our rights, for standing for self-defense. If somebody's going to attack us, what else choice do you have? Somebody's coming at you with a 90mm handgun with 30 rounds in it. You're not going to just say, "Oh, calm down." There's nothing you can do at that point. You have to meet that kind of an assault with equal force. That's my argument.
And that's where the self-defense argument comes up
Absolutely.
under a religious
That's right.
banner, or
banner or duty. I think it's more of a duty, really, because if you look at the history of Sikhs, all through history, we have defended the rights of those, like in India, during the 1600s and 1700s. The Sikhs were the only people who stood up to the Mughals who attacked India, and they defended the rights of Hindus to believe the way and worship the way they wanted to. Okay, the only religion I know of that has stood for the rights of other religions to worship the way they did. So the Hindus, by their nature, by their religious philosophy, are pacifists for the most part. Okay, but Sikhs have part of their religion as being instilled with this and mandate to be warriors and to be skilled in self-defense with weapons. All right, so that's such a huge part of our religion. It's not fuzzy or gray at all. Sikhs have been involved in the militaries of Canada, the UK, India. It makes up 30% of the Indian Army, and only 5% of the population are Sikhs. So that tells you something right there.
But it's in self-defense, not in protagonistic fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not any kind of aggressive, offensive kind of men. Yes, it's self-defense. Yeah, Sikhs shouldn't attack anybody in kind of an anger type of thing, like that. So I think that brings up another good point. That I'm not saying here that you should just give out assault weapons to all the Sikhs, okay? I'm not saying you should give weapons out to everybody. You should be qualified, all right? And I will say, I do think that California's laws requiring people to take classes, take safety classes and classes in how to use handguns and weapons is good. I really agree with that, okay? And I think that if we get this law changed where Sikhs are able to use assault weapons, they should be required to take classes and know how to be trained and use them.
Would it just be for Sikhs though, or would it be for? Because it seems like you wouldn't be able to do it for one class of people in the United States without doing it.
There's precedent for religious exceptions. For example, during the 70s, there was a Native American group that sued the U.S. government because they wanted to use peyote, and so they were allowed to do it, and the others are not. So for the purpose of this lawsuit, I'm saying Sikhs should be able to do it because of our history. If I think that all Americans should be able to have assault weapons or high capacity magazines for their self-defense. But in this case,